women have that secret power, and they don't realize they have that power, right? Because I think a lot of it is that fear.
I think most women who use it, though, are manipulative.
No one can hold something against you. Let's say that you're walking down the street, right? Mm-hmm. And someone is like, "Hey, would you like a free sample of this candy or whatever it is, or like, would you like this candy?" You know, maybe they don't say the word free, right? And you're like, "Sure," and they give it to you, and you eat it, and then they're like, "Okay, here's the bill. It's $10,000." You're gonna laugh at that bill. And you're like, "No, you just gave me. I don't owe you anything for it." If you're in the mind frame of worrying about everything being held against you, then you're not going to appreciate the things that are given to you or done for you, because you're constantly worrying that if I accept this gift, or if I'm thankful for this, if I want this thing that's being given to me, then am I going to feel obligated in some way? I've been coaching guys for a long time, not just in the relationship coaching, and relationship stuff comes up all the time. And I can tell you so many times where I talk to guys, and it's like, if a woman just understood that, if she, instead of getting mad or however she's dealing with the situation, if she just broke down and cried, or was like, just like, "Oh, I don't want to lose you. I love you so much," or if she took that approach of what you would call needy, of seeming clingy or seeming weak or pathetic, as some people would say, like, if she took that approach, a man instantly melts, and he feels like he has to take care of her and comfort her and make her feel better and protect her and forget what I was upset about. You're more important, right? Women have that secret power, and they don't realize they have that power, right? Because I think a lot of it is that fear.
I think most women who use it, though, are manipulative.
Yeah, okay, well,
like, I'm not saying, I want to be clear, I'm not saying that what you're saying is the wrong thing to do. It's the right thing to do.
Right.
But I think that a good majority of women who use that,
right,
because I can think of stories that I've heard,
right,
and that seem very believable, that certain women would do exactly what you say after they've blown up and said things and yelled and all of those things, and then gone to that. Because I think that a lot of time women use that to try to make up for all the horrible things that they did. Right.
And I agree. But that's why that has to be you can't use it for bad, right? Any of these things could be used for manipulation. You shouldn't. You should use them for good, which means you go there first. You go to that place. You act that way. That's the being feminine part, right? That a lot of women are afraid to show. But again, that is part of that role of the support. Because, when you come to me and you're like, "John, I like," and you're like, "I'm struggling with this," or and you're just like coming to hug me, or to like get me to hug you because you need that comfort or support from me, or whatever the issue is, or I'm scared about this, I feel like this, I'm going to respond like that. That not only am I going to respond, but it also makes me feel more useful, better, more confident as a man. I guess it empowers me, because I know that I have you trusting and coming to me. You know what I mean? It's hard to describe, I think, but I know
what you're saying. Right? And but I still think that I would say a woman's biggest fear in doing that is it being held against her, because I've even had women do that to me, right? Like, I've had a friend, we, dissolved a friendship, and then she would throw back all the things that I confided in her to hurt me. And so, like, I feel like that is what makes women afraid to appear needy, or to be like, "I need you," like tell, I know so many women personally that don't even want to ask for help. Right. Yeah. Because they're afraid of many things. But I think the biggest thing is it being held against them. And so they'd rather just do it themselves. Yeah. And that's also what's caused women, I think, in general, to be more independent is because they don't want, I mean, you can go on any of our videos probably and see men even holding the things that I'm saying against me, and they don't even know me, and they didn't watch the full episode. They're just watching this clip.
Well, look, here's how I got it. Yeah, because I mean, I deal with this a lot with a lot of people, not just in relationship, in romantic relationships, but the holding it against it. It's like, look, no one can hold something against you. They can think that they can hold something against you, but you know what? If I go to, you know, whatever, if I give you something, right? If I give someone, let's say this example. Let's say that you're walking down the street, right? Mm-hmm. And someone is like, "Hey, would you like a free sample of this candy or whatever it is, or like, would you like this candy?" You know, maybe they don't say the word free, right? And you're like, "Sure," and they give it to you, and you eat it, and then they're like, "Okay, here's the bill. It's $10,000." They're trying to hold it. What are you going to do? You're going to laugh at that bill. You're like, no, you just gave me. I don't owe you anything for it. You didn't say, "Hey, this is what this costs. Do you want this?" You gave it to me, right? So it's like, if you have that mindset, I know it's still difficult, but in reality, no one can ever really hold anything against you.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying, and you're right. But I do feel like it is different when it's the person you're spending your life with. Yeah. And now they're bringing up all the things that they did for you to hold them against you, to prove their point, or to make you see something. Like, it hurts more. Like, it's easier to do what you said.
Right.
Like, I don't think women necessarily have as much of a problem. They still might a little bit, but I think it's more so the people you care about.
Yeah.
And the people closest to you doing that to you because, one, you're afraid that they're going to continue to do it.
Right.
And two, now you feel like, are they just doing things so they have an arsenal to hold against me when they're upset? Like, it invokes a lot more than the example that you gave. So, yes, you're right that nobody can hold something against you. Right. They can't. But at the same time, I don't know if that would also, like, having that knowledge would resolve the problem.
Okay, let me give you an example. Because sometimes I think you can feel like it's being held against you, but that's not what the objective is. Sometimes the objective is just to get the recognition or acknowledgement or appreciation, right? So, for instance, like we were talking about in our discussion, I had said, well, you know, I wake up at 5:40 in the morning, and then I bring you coffee in the morning. Mm-hmm. And at first you said, well, you don't have to do that. Don't bring me coffee anymore. And my reaction was, no, it's so much better if you say, oh, wow, you do that. I like that a lot. That's great. I appreciate that, right? Because that's what I was really going for. Not to hold it against you, to be like, okay, so since I bring you coffee, what are you going to do for me? Or like, you know, but more to say, this is how much I love you. This is how much I care for you. I want to be acknowledged for that. Like, I want to feel like, you know, because I think that the thing about that, the danger of it, and the reason why I bring this up is because, yes, someone can hold things against you, but also if you're in the mind frame of worrying about everything being held against you, then you're not going to appreciate the things that are given to you or done for you, because you're constantly worrying that if I accept this gift, or if I'm thankful for this, if I, you know, want this thing that's being given to me, then am I going to feel obligated in some way or not?
Well, a lot of people, that's how they operate. Mm-hmm. And they don't want help from people because they don't want to feel like they owe somebody something.
Right. But that's, and when you're dealing with the external world, I generally agree, right? I always say, never let anyone put their hooks in you, right? So don't accept charity, don't accept gifts from people, because you don't want to owe someone something, right? However, when you're in a relationship with someone, you have to cut those barriers down, because it's not going to be healthy. It's not going to help you to be worrying about, you know, you just have to accept, you know, graciously, I think is the key. And again, I think it is more of a feminine issue that, you know, women, even compliments. Women a lot of times have a hard time accepting but part of being feminine is accepting those compliments graciously, being thankful for them, being thankful for the things that because a man is, if you think about it really, and again, I'm talking about the ideal. Well, I think it's in the heart of all men, right? So a lot of men don't even tap into their own heart and understand this, but a man in a relationship with a woman, especially married, right? The biggest thing that will bring him joy or happiness in his life is for her to be happy. That's like, if he can make her life better, if I can have on my eulogy or whatever, it's just like, he made he made Nicole the most happy, made her life as best as it possibly could be, whatever, like those praises, those would be my highest accomplishment as a man. You know what I'm saying? Those are things that are most meaningful to me. And so that's why I think that sometimes it's misunderstood. If women understand this about a man's heart, then they see all these things that he's doing and giving them as those are real. That's what is really important.